Today I'm going to teach you the new best product fulfillment solution for 2020 to build a real brand that's going to build you long-term sustainable income. Let's go. All right, so step number one is you have some prerequisites. Okay, it's really important if you want to use this type of solution that you understand that you have prerequisites, otherwise you'll get burnt. Okay, when I went through this, I got burnt. Okay, and so I'm giving you this as a heads up. It's actually very important that this will help you to build your brand. Okay, so step number one is all the prerequisites, and these are all just things that it's just important for you to understand and learn. These slides will be in the description below. You can get them. Okay, I'll just put them in the slides, and if you have any questions, just ask in the comments section. Okay, this is one of the hardest parts with e-commerce is the actual fulfillment, getting sales. Okay, realistically, in the scheme of things, you'll find it generally becomes the easy part. It's the fulfillment, customer service, logistics that is, to me, the part that always is the most time-consuming and troublesome. So you need to have at least 500 sales a month for this solution. Okay, to be viable. Okay, if you're not doing at least 500 sales a month, so that's 10 to 20 orders, pretty much 10 to 20 orders a day, then this isn't worth it. If you're getting a couple orders a day, don't do this. They won't accept you. You need to have satchels created for your product. So you can go on eBay, buy satchels depending on the size of them. You might need boxes depending on your item. I actually get them custom made in China. So I get my designer to make them, get the dimensions, send it to them, get a sample, and then I make that. And you keep that template for all your products, okay? If you really want to build a brand, it's my strong recommendation to do that for satchels and boxes, because you can have things like thank you cards, letters, okay? And these are all things you just need a graphic designer for, and you just need to find the supplier on Alibaba for. You need to have an understanding of SKU and barcodes. I'm going to get into that briefly, but SKU, stock keeping unit, barcodes is like what you see in a grocery store. You need to understand barcodes. The whole barcoding system in itself, I actually recommend having a look on YouTube. Is incredibly fascinating. The system, it is one of the most ingenious ways to be able to manage huge amounts of inventory. Okay, I personally find it very interesting. I know many people don't, but I find it very interesting. You need a bulk order from Alibaba or your supplier. So let's say you got a supplier here in Australia. Obviously, you have a bulk order. Okay, but most of the time I go to Alibaba. Obviously, it's cheapest. I have the most control. All right, but obviously then I have the downside of, let's say, the shipping time frames might be a month. Okay, you need to have your products properly labeled. It's really important that you have your products properly labeled. And I'll get into that in step 3, a bit more about it, how you can sort of do that. But we'll get into that briefly. You need to account for processing times from your supplier. Okay, so what I mean by that is your item just purchased through them and they have a heap of them in stock, so it might be the next day? Is it custom made? Are you getting a logo printed on it or something? Okay, you got to allow for that. Might take a week, could take a couple of weeks, could take a day. All right, you need to ask that and you need to account for that. Okay, and why that's important is because you don't want to scale high and then find out that your supplier is 3 weeks away and you're going to have a customer service nightmare, I assure you, if you're over promising and under delivering. You need to account for shipping times. Okay, so for bulk orders, most is for sea freight. I mean, you can try air freight, but if you want to go broke, it's not my recommendation. So sea freight, a month to deliver. So I just got an order here to Australia. It took a month to Australia. It takes a month to the US, and it takes a month pretty much to the UK. In the UK and Australia, you have like 1-2 weeks as well because of their customs regulations. Very important you keep that in mind. In US and Canada, they're not as strict on that. Most of the time you send your orders to the United States, and then if you get orders from Canada, you ship it from your warehouse from United States. That's generally how most people do it. But if you get a lot of orders from Canada, it's my strong recommendation to try and get a warehouse there as well, to at least improve your shipping times. So understand that, especially for Australia, okay, and I got hit by this, just a part of the process, is if you have over a 1K order to Australia in value, you will get a customs import tax, and you actually need to factor that into your product pricing as well. So it really adds up before you know it. So, pardon me. In theory, it's fantastic, but the reality is it can be quite difficult. If you're buying $100,000 worth of stock, you could get a 10% on top of that. So you actually have to factor in $110,000 worth of stock, and you have to factor that into your product price. Really important you understand that regardless, in most countries they charge you customs import tax. It's just a matter of when you pay it. Do you pay it through Alibaba, example, or do you pay it once it hits the shores of that country? All right, so really important you understand this. Where was I? Inventory times take 3 to 5 days. For the one that I'm going to be providing, it takes 3 to 5 days. They say 72 hours, okay? And you need to submit a document. They call it an ASN. It's an automated shipping something. I can't remember what it stands for. It's a simple doc. But anyway, the point is you need to account for that as well. All in all, to give you an idea just about the prerequisites, by the time you brand your product, you buy it in bulk, you get it through sea freight to then customs and the warehouse, you're looking at least a month, okay? A month to 2 months. You think about that, that's 6 shipments a year in theory, okay? Type of thing. So you 6 to 12 shipments a year. So you have to be proactive. If you want to continue scaling your business, you have to be proactive. This is why, all the profits you make go back into buying more stock, because you've got to keep it rolling. Otherwise, you're going to have a logistical nightmare. So let's move into step number 2. So Borderless 360 is a solution. Okay, so I'm not an affiliate. I'm not an affiliate of them. They're fantastic. I did some research. I know most people use ShipBob, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I know that's just the popular go-to because most people say it, but I don't take a lot of that. I take a lot of that on face value, so I do my own research. Anyway, they have a lot of clients, and what really attracted me to them was that global e-commerce fulfillment. Okay, so most have, let's say, warehouses just in the United States, because most of us are just marketing the United States, but there's a whole world there. So global e-commerce fulfillment, they have warehouses in the United States, Australia, United Kingdom, China, soon to be Japan and Amsterdam. Okay, smart cloud, it's adaptable shipping, you can choose hybrid, courier. These are all things that you figure out over time. Hong Kong to be precise, but that's what I really like is that it covers all major regions. And so let's say I plan to sell to Singapore, which is a fantastic country to sell to. If you don't, I could ship them from Australia or Hong Kong. Generally, I do it from Australia to Singapore because it's generally faster. And then from US to Canada and South America and United Kingdom for the European region. Okay, so you sort of get the idea. Like they have that scalability there. As I said, adaptable shipping, it integrates with Shopify, Smart Cloud, it integrates with Amazon as well as eBay. And as a part of my strategy, I actually use Amazon and eBay. I use a lot of SEO and their PPC because it actually can be quite cheap. And then I get those orders into Shopify and then use Borderless 360 to fulfill the order. Okay, so once it's in Shopify, it polls Shopify, Borderless 360, it pulls the order in, the details, they'll then ship based on the location and what stock you have in that area. What's also good about this app, I should also add, is that you can have reports of limits. So let's say, unfortunately, at this stage, you can't choose percentage. I gave them that as feedback, but you can't choose percentage. I would prefer percentage any day of the week. So because you might have 5,000 of this, 1,000 of this, but if you choose a static number, it might be 100. But if I chose 10%, for that 5,000 it might be 500. For the one that has 100, it might be 10. So it's more dynamic. So that's a bit of a drawback, in my opinion, just a tiny little drawback, but it's nothing that you can't work around. What I really like as well is they've got great support. Okay, to me, when you have, as I said, logistics is the hardest part in e-commerce, really. Sales and marketing and that, you can build a team, it's all digital around the world, but the logistics is always the hardest part. This is the part that is so very important. And I wanted to make this now because I want to have time to make another video for another month or two. And because we're moving into Q4, I understand, obviously, everyone knows that with the unfortunate pandemic, it's really important this year that Q4 is probably going to be, break last year's record by a long shot, which is great for sales. But if you can't get your order to a customer by Christmas, I assure you, you are going to encounter hell. And you need to understand that you don't want to encounter that hell. That hell will destroy you. It'll destroy your business overnight. And that's why dropshipping from AliExpress and stuff, you're looking at a 2, 3, 4 week delivery time frame. And especially once you start getting into December, it just goes chaotic. Okay, so I'm trying to teach you how to be proactive here rather than reactive, because as soon as Christmas ends, 25th, 26th, 27th, usually it's the first or second day of the new year, you will just get flooded with emails and refund requests. And not many people speak about that, but this is like, I plan my year around logistics. If I can have logistics in place, I can scale with confidence. So please understand that this is an important solution. As I said, that there's no solution out there that is absolute be all end all. At the end of the day, I plan to have my own warehouses and do it all myself and have teams and stuff, because always do it internal once you have the cash flow. But if you don't and stuff right now, warehouses are obviously the solution, and they're fantastic. Okay, you might even use warehouses forever, but you get the idea. So they've got bulk order discounts as well. So they've got their pricing and stuff. Now it's important, if we quickly go back here, help with getting orders through customs as well. Great onboarding, support. I'll add the links down below too. All expenses in the app, I like that. I can see my invoices and stuff and provide it to my accountant. Intelligent software to delegate. So they've got multiple warehouses in the United States. Might find that one area gets more orders, so they'll move those orders to there for you. So that it might reduce your shipping days from maybe 3 days to 2, and your shipping costs by 20, 30% type thing. So, it's all, give it time and that will happen. But it's really important. And I want to make it clear, I'm not an affiliate of these either. I personally just really like their solution, and I like to help people. Okay, but that's pretty much sort of it. They are a premium provider. As I said, you need to have 500 orders a month. If you're not having 500 orders a month, they probably won't even take you on board. If they are, then you start paying a penalty, because they could get another client that's far more worth their time. Okay, so it's understandable. They've been around 20 years. They've got a lot of rapport. I did a lot of research on all of these, and to me, a really nice website, a nice app, great support are the big things that are very important for me to build a high quality customer service experience. All right, so step number 3 is Sortly for barcoding management. So let's get into that. I've only got a few minutes left. I've got a meeting. Sorry. If you're in the FBA, obviously you'll probably know somewhat about barcodes. I believe a lot of people still don't, but I've done a lot of research. I'm no genius at this. Just go on YouTube if you want to learn more about barcodes. There are tons of videos, especially around the FBA, because you generally have to learn a lot about that. With dropshipping, most of us, we really haven't. And if you really want to learn about this, it's an invaluable skill to learn. Might not make you a lot of money, but it will probably save you a lot of money by understanding it. So firstly, understand a UPC, universal product code. Okay, it's the thing that you see like on a drink, in a grocery store. You see there's different barcodes for different types. There's EAN, European something number, and then there's GTIN, Global Tracking Inventory Number. That's the more US and Canadian one. And UPC, obviously, it sort of works for them all. So I've just sort of gone with UPC. And then there's another barcode where you actually have to pay quite a lot of money and no one can steal it. Like, no joke. I just forgot what it's called. Anyway, so all I done, a simple little strategy, is I went on eBay and I purchased 1,000 UPC codes for $70. So on average, 7 cents per barcode. Every variant. Okay, so this also will shift your mindset from a product being a product and a variant being a product. So, you might have your product, but it might have 10 variants. Those I define as 10 different variants, and they all need to have a UPC each. Okay, they all need to have a unique UPC each, because if they're in a warehouse, these warehouses or whatever, they might be shipping out thousands of orders a day. They're not going to sit there and figure that out for you. That's a waste of their time. You need to tell them, okay, this is the order, this is the UPC. They scan it, that correlates. Yep, done. That's it. They don't care about what the item is. They don't care about any of that. They care about getting as many in and out as possible. That's how they make their business profitable, and you have to abide by that. If you don't, they're not going to accept you. Very important you understand that with a warehouse. If a proper warehouse, and I use Sortly for it. So this is just the solution here. Again, I'm not an affiliate. I don't even know if they have one. But you can see here we've got some pictures, the barcode. You can add custom codes. You can scan. It's more for a lot of people that do it internally. Sorry, $39. I'm on the yearly, and allows you to have a lot of SKUs, a lot of barcodes, as you can see, for pharmacies and stuff that have tons and tons of barcodes. It is absolutely invaluable. So, connect barcodes or QR codes, schedule auto alerts, reminders, give team or customers access, which is really helpful. Create and print custom QR labels, track user activity, no time limit. I use this because I plan to have thousands of UPCs and SKUs, and having a simple solution that costs me $50 a month like this, that's web-based, is fabulous. Okay, so that's sort of my recommendation there. And SKU is a stock keeping unit. That's a more internal based thing. UPC is more used for all. You could have 10 different vendors you're sending it to, and you might have a different SKU for every one of those vendors internally, so that you can track that. But the item itself, from the vendor's perspective, the UPC is always the same. Okay, so a bit to wrap your head around, but it's important that you sort of understand. And as I said, so helps custom fields like HS codes as well. I've forgotten what that stands for. But length, width, height, weight, for instance, the barcode, the SKU, all of that. So you have a database, and I use that because I then correlate it to Shopify, which then correlates it to Borderless 360. So they have all the information they need to be able to fulfill the order as effectively as possible, and it ensures that I am legally compliant at any given point, because different countries have different laws, okay, and they change a lot. All right, so I just wanted to give this, that basically at the end of the day, for most of you, just use Borderless 360 if you're looking at it. But I hope this has been helpful anyway. If you did like today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, ask any questions below. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care and goodbye.